Friday, September 20th. Welcome to the Damon Bruce Show, brought to you by Ike's Sandwiches, and it is fantastic to have you here with me here today. Hit that like and subscribe. It is always good to have you along. We got something to get into today, and you are going to be part of it. I have pinned in the chat a link that will allow you to make a video call into the show. It's a Sports Phone Friday here on the Damon Bruce Plus channel with its fancy new football helmet right behind me. Look at that bad boy. Look at that green gridiron helmet. Make sure you check out the link in the description of this live stream. And oh, by the way, since we are talking about my sponsors, look at that guy right there. I got to put his face over his face. This man is Ike. This man has the best sandwich in the world just waiting for you. And Saturday is the perfect day to get yourself into an Ike's. Now, unfortunately, not in the Santa Rosa, San Mateo, or Redwood City locations do they participate in the following offer, but the rest of the world of Ike's universe has a $3 off your sandwich Saturday coming up. $3 off your sandwich by using promo code SAT3. Do it on the all-new downloadable app, which is all new and improved. Check it out. You can earn your way towards free sandwiches, chips, drinks, a little fun every single time you open up that app, waiting for you, and free sandwiches waiting for you when you sign up. And you can also use the SAT3 promo code, just walking into a Star and getting $3 off an Ike sandwich. You can do that this weekend. My boys at the Dubliner are ready to serve you up this weekend. The most perfectly poured Guinness in all of San Francisco. It's the Dubliner in West Portal, an incredible bar, my kind of bar, my kind of people, my kind of bartender. You go say hello to Kenny when you get in there and say, Damon told me to say hello, Kenny. He loves that. Absolutely loves that. Go on into the Dubliner and West Portal. You'll be very, very happy that you did. And today's show is being powered by BetUS, and I can promise you we will get into this sexy Week 2 schedule here and place a little bet or two around the NFL in just a second here together. But again, if you want to get in with a video call, I have pinned the link to the top of today's chat. You can find it there, and we'll be sprinkling in through and out without the program today. But we want to start with the fact that there is a ratio in sports that is really unlike others. And I don't mean a ratio of somebody bringing up a Twitter comment and get absolutely lambasted for it. I'm not talking about a ratio of cost to park to cost of my ticket to cost of hot dog or anything like that. I'm just talking about butts in seats. And I don't know if there is a bigger opposing fan, opposing butt in an opposing stadium's opposing seat than what the 49ers have brought into the stadias that they have visited over the last, 4 or 5 years. This is not just recency bias. This has been going on for a while now. There is no fan base, I don't think, anywhere in the world of sports. I mean, it's not like when Yankees fans come into town or when Cubs fans come into town or when, Eagles used to travel very well. Bears fans travel very, very well. Raiders fans for years, there'd be more Raiders fans than there would be in opposing stadiums than there would be sitting in Oakland. I mean, it was nuts. Raiders fans have traveled very well throughout the years. In my life of experience, just these opposing fan bases, there are a couple of times where the opposing fan base made me go, holy shit. And one of those times was when I was at the Final Four in 2000 in Indianapolis, and North Carolina was in that championship game. Or no, I think North Carolina got bounced by Florida. That's right. It was Florida, Michigan State in the championship game, but it was Wisconsin, Florida, Michigan State, and North Carolina. And even though North Carolina got bounced, holy mackerel, did they fill up the RCA Dome. North Carolina, those fans travel. Kentucky fans. I hate Kentucky, but those cousin fuckers, they travel. They absolutely do. They will fill up your stadium if you don't. Kentucky travels. They do. Indiana travels. Indiana traveled very well to the Rose Bowl, if you don't mind me saying, last weekend. But there ain't nobody in the NFL that is traveling like the 49ers do. Call it, a fan base that's got a little extra jingle to jangle. People in the Bay Area do pretty darn well. There's some money up here, but obviously not all 49er fans are traveling from the Bay Area. And what we're looking at is hunger. What we're looking at is starvation. You got fans starving for a 6th Super Bowl. And when you are starving as a fan, you get more like, okay, I got to be there at that game. They're how close to me? I got to go to that game. I got to be there. I got to be there to support them. We got to get this quest for 6 completed. And there are 49ers fans, and there's also, let's be totally honest, that red pops. Red pops on TV. You can see it. Stands out like a sore thumb, but there will be more red in any stadium that the 49ers play in than there probably will be the home team's color. And that is going to be on absolute full display this weekend at Candlestick South. That's what SoFi Stadium, let's call it fancy Candlestick. It really is. It looks like a remarkable building. It looks like an unbelievable venue. I'm looking forward to going one day soon. But oh my God, if you are a 49er fan, it feels like you got born at Levi Stadium. There will be 70% 49ers fans in that building this weekend. The Rams will be operating on a silent count from kickoff. And that pisses off opposing teams. That pisses off the opponent more than anything else. Like how much are they cheering for you? How much are they pulling for you? How much community support you really have? That does not mean an awful lot. But noise level, while we're on offense, that pisses players off. That pisses quarterbacks off. And I expect Stafford to be pissed off once again, playing a full-throated 80% of this stadium was wearing red 49ers crowd coming up at Levi Stadium this weekend. It is a fantastic weekend, a really fantastic weekend around the NFL. I love this slate of schedule. I really do. I love this schedule. You got some sexy games out there. Like and subscribe if you think week 3 is a sexy week, and if you want to talk about any of it, again, pinned to the link on top of this video, you will find a little something we like to call a way to get in and do a video call. So hopefully you come on through. We got T from the 203, first man in, first man on. That's how it officially works around here. Let me grab the can so I can hear you. I'm guessing you living now in Miami. Mm-hmm. And Tua and concussions and headaches and retirement talk for a solid week.
It's been more like I've been throwing the narrative if he gets cleared, but figure out what doctor. Will he wear the Guardian cap? That's the one thing I've been saying, because somehow some doctor down here in Miami will clear him, or an independent neurologist or a team doctor will clear him. He probably won't be back till after the bye week. So I'm going to probably say the Arizona game at least. That's been the talk a little bit of the town down here anyways. And also how Anthony Weaver is the biggest fraud of a defensive coordinator I've ever seen, by the way.
Let me tell you, Miami's ex-defensive coordinator head coach, if you don't mind me saying, now defensive coordinator, absolutely put it on the 49ers in Minnesota this past weekend. So enough Brian Flores talk around the Bay Area. He's been more of a talking point than anyone thought he would be. They've been talking about Flores more than Sam Darnold biting the 49ers in the rear end. But it's on to week 3. It's on to SoFi Stadium. Mm-hmm. And
can I say it's great to talk to you. I also got to talk to Frank Gore today. So I got to talk. I was able to talk to San Francisco 49er legend and Miami Hurricane legend Frank Gore.
I was about to say, how'd you get Gore on the show?
I was producing the Joe Rose show this morning. Anyways, so they're in the 8 o'clock to the 10 o'clock hour, since the main producer had to bounce to Tampa for the USF Miami Hurricane game and for some college football actions that we like to say.
Now, you're showing a disturbing amount of shoulder, if you don't mind me saying. I feel like you're going like an off the shoulder, trying to like tempt me a little bit. Like, oh, he's not wearing a bra. Look at that.
Not gonna lie, this is one of my shirts I like to wear at the gym, and also a shirt I'm just gonna wear over under a hoodie, anyways.
There you go. Again, I'm glad it works for you, but there was way too much shoulder in that picture. I was getting uncomfortable. I was worried about the audience. I really, really was.
The audience is good enough for enough shoulder, anyways. We're good.
It's a shouldered up audience. It really is. So, how you leaning this weekend? It seems like there's a new injury every single time the 49ers look up. There is a new George Kittle's name is on the list today. We see the fact that Mooney Ward's name is on the injury list. He didn't practice. Obviously, no Debo, no McCaffrey, but the Rams make the 49ers look pretty freaking healthy in comparison.
At least the 49ers have a running game with Jordan Mason, at least. Because the Rams roster is, I think, like you'd say, put a nail in it, because that thing is dead in the water, I like to say, before arrivals came. And ever since Arizona blew them out the doors, I was like, oh my, we may have a frisky division between the Cardinals, I like to say, which is surprising to say with a healthy Kyler Murray.
Look, the Cardinals always got, like, I don't care. You can be on your third string quarterback. You can be rolling out Josh Dobbs if you're Arizona, right? I mean, and they, for whatever reason, call it familiarity, breeding contempt. I don't know, but it is, the Arizona Cardinals always got a little more than what the 49ers want from them. Even when the Cardinals suck, they're a headache for the 49ers for some reason. So yeah, as we've watched the Rams through the first 2 weeks retreat from the teams you really got to worry about. Now, maybe they get healthy and things change. It's a long season. They're good. They got a good quarterback. But bad start, which hopefully gets even worse in 0-3 after this weekend. Seattle's still a question mark. But this Arizona team feels like it's got some juice to it. It really does.
I previewed them as my frisky team to watch in my NFL preview show of the Upper Bowl podcast. I just asked my buddies, a Cardinal fans, like, do you think the Cardinals will be frisky? He's like, they'll be in the box of the in the hunt picture, if you know what we mean by that.
Yeah.
The Bears fans are known for, by the way.
Not as frisky as that drop top off the shoulder outfit that you were wearing earlier on the show today.
Shout out to Under Armour. It's been faded out anyways.
Let me ask you this, since you are my Miami bureau chief.
And you're a resident Eagle fan, too. Everyone forgets about that, by the way.
No one gives a shit about the Eagles. But
as I like to say, no one gave a shit about the 49ers when Ken Dorsey was playing. Or Tim Rattay was playing.
Here. They were just angry. You just didn't hear them giving a shit. The Jimmy Butler rumor. Jimmy Butler might be shopped. Is that real? Are the Heat about to move on and turn away from Jimmy Butler?
This has been my hottest take down here. I kind of want this whole season to implode on them. I really do, because I want a reset. I want a full reset, because I need these Heat fans to be humbled a little bit, because you can't have everything rose gardens and roses all the time. I feel like the only person who could change the culture around here is Bob Myers, and I feel like the nice resident Southern brand of the Miami Heat basketball is cute. If you want to be a true international brand, Pat Riley, retire, you bring in Bob Myers, and you become a true international brand. Look what the Golden State Warriors before. They were just a NorCal regional team anyways. Now they're a superstar team brand. So I always say that Yeah, I just want the Heat fan to learn to be humbled a little bit, if you know what I mean.
By the way, you know Pat Riley. I went to Pat Riley's high school.
I know.
There you go. It's those Schenectady boys. They'll put together a winner, but I know you're waiting for another championship down in Miami. You've gotten close. You've gotten close in seasons you really had no business getting close.
No, I don't think they deserve that. With this roster construction, with the second apron and everything, which is complete boring sports talk radio to talk about, I think the Heat are just a mid-level team. I just think they're just entertaining. They're just going to be a playing team. And when they play the Bulls, they'll get in. They're lose by the Celtics in 5 anyway. So that's what I see it as.
T, good to see you, man. I see the Barstool Chicago flag behind you.
Yes, I like to say Tom Ricketts should sell the team so I can enjoy my baseball team, as even though I enjoy them in Miami, just creating a muck with my girlfriend as well. So
you weren't at the Ohtani game last night, were you?
I literally am going to say this. I was about to purchase tickets. Then a crazy rainstorm that just flooded half the highways. I was going to go. My buddy, who I produced a morning show with, he was there with his kid. And he was so cool to see baseball history at 50 and 50. I got to tell you. Absolutely.
That's going to be one of those games where the announced attendance was 22,000, but there'll be 68,000 people saying that they were there for that one.
But here's the crazier thing. I was talking to my buddy Hollywood. He told me all the Dodger fans flew down from LA and everywhere else to Miami because it was such a cheap ticket. Like tickets were going for like $10.
Yeah. Well, it's Miami. No one gives a shit anymore.
It's the worst baseball town of all baseball towns. If you want to put it on the Mount Rushmore, that's number one next to Colorado, at least.
Oh, Colorado's pretty good, actually. It really is. Colorado's at least got the gorgeous stadium, and it's right in Lodo and all that stuff. Miami. I
was going by ownership wise, anyways. But the Miami's number one. You can throw John Fisher there, and you can also throw the Rays ownership as well. So that's why.
T, brother, great to see you. It's been a while. Thanks for stepping right up and answering the bell. Great to see you. Have a good weekend, brother.
That's what JT the Brick would say. I got to set the tone for everybody.
There he is. He's setting the tone. Speed Brick, T from the 203. That's our guy right there. Really, really good to see him. By the way, I see others lining up, getting in line. We'll get there in a second. Let me quickly just take you through this sexy schedule real quick, right? Can I take you through this schedule? Look at this week 3 schedule. First of all, you got 2-0 pretty interesting teams going at it with Texans and Vikings. Vikings beat the Texans. I think 49ers fans will feel a little bit better about last week's loss. You got the 0-2 Ravens at the Cowboys. You can't get more desperate than 0-2. Let's get over. Hold on. Let me figure out something over here for you real quick. See, I tried to get to it earlier in the show. I log out. I don't want you to give my login information here. Let me go. Let me get my football up. Where are you, football? Hold on. Boom. 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 All right. Let's look. Let's look at this schedule. First of all, right off the rip, right? Chargers, Steelers. If you're betting that game, you got to put it on the money, honey. What am I going to take a point? No, I'm just going to take the Chargers. I'm betting that game. I'm taking the Chargers right there. Boom. Putting on money line, Chargers. Bears, Colts, straight up pick 'em. It's going to be an ugly game. It's going to be maybe a fun and entertaining game, though. So that'll be fun to watch. Not a good game to bet on. Vikings, Texans, that's a full no thank you. Eagles and Saints. I mean, it feels like the Saints have just got such a hot offense right now. They can lay the 3 and get away with it, but I'm laying off that one too. Panthers and Raiders. I'm just telling you right now, if the Raiders do not win this game against the Andy Dalton Carolina Panthers, what home game could you make the argument that they will win this year? It's going to be the one time the Raiders have more fans in their own stadium than the opposing team does all year long, because I don't think the Panthers even have fans. Dolphins, Seahawks, this is a sneaky interesting game. Very interesting game there. Only because, I mean, Miami, when you look at that, you're like, Miami plus 4.5, I want to bang that. And then you look at, it's not Tua. No, I don't think you want to touch that at all. Lions, Cardinals, that could get spicy. I'm just going to come here, I'm going to look at the 49ers, and I'm going to lay the 6. I think that as banged up as they are still better than the Rams. They're better by a touchdown. I'm going to take all that. I'm going to get a little parlay going on here. We got parlay ticked? Parlay. Give me the parlay. There it is. I'm going to go ahead and make Jillian all pissed off. I'm going to put $100 on that one. Boom. That's right, honey. I'm tying our boys' financial future to the Chargers on money line and the 49ers minus 6.5. There you go. If Jim Harbaugh has coached your team, either currently or in the past, I'm rolling on you on the Harbaugh parlay. Place my bets. There we go. Here's your ticket. Confirm. Boom. And that's how easy it is over on BetUS. It is that easy, my friends, to place a little bet. It is that much fun. You do it, oh, by the way, responsibly, of course. And I want you to know that when you go to BetUS, use YouTube 150, and you will get a 150% deposit match on your first deposit with 125% on your next 2, up to $2,000. And there you go. That's how you place your bets over on BetUS. We were going right back to our calls. Who do we got here now? We got Jesse. Jesse, good to see you again, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm excited for Sunday. I hope we get a win.
I'm excited for Sunday, too. Now, when you say hope we get a win, you mean your Raiders.
And the Niners. Ever since Greg Papa joined the Niners, I've been rooting for them a little bit more.
It's amazing what love of a broadcaster will do to a fan's rooting interest. I'll tell you, I saw at like some NFL Films highlight. I don't even remember the game or whatever it was, but it was Papa's voice doing a Raiders game at the Coliseum. And look, I mean this. Greg Papa could do Niners games for 25 years now. He could literally die during the winning call of a Super Bowl for the 49ers. Die right on the air. To me, Greg Papa is the Raiders broadcaster between now and the end of time. He's great with the Niners. He's always a Raider. He's always a Raider in my mind.
I kind of wanted that Super Bowl victory call last year in Vegas.
I
feel like he needed it.
It would have been a knife in the back to the Chiefs. It would have been a knife in the back to Mark Davis. It would have been a knife in the back to just being in the stadium that they abandoned the Bay Area to go get. And it would have been something else. It really would have.
Yes. I'm also liking what Derek Carr is doing this year. I'm missing him already.
I bet you are. I mean, here's the thing. I like Minshew, but here's my problem with Gardner Minshew. Gardner Minshew is so likable and easy to root for that like you extend a level of benefit of the doubt to him that he probably doesn't earn or shouldn't even get. Like Gardner Minshew is just good enough to leave you stuck in the middle, I think at best, as an NFL franchise, but he's easy to root for. So you got more patience with someone who like, I mean, if I'm the Raiders, I would want to bottom out for the top pick in the draft. I really would. I know that Antonio Pierce wants to change things up and stop thinking like that, and they want, tomorrow to eventually arrive. But this is a going nowhere fast Raider team again. Even with that win in Baltimore, it really, really is. You're not better than the Chiefs. You're certainly not better than the Chargers, I don't think. And it's just, I don't know. The Raiders are always stuck.
Hey, I want us to move on from get it. I wanted us to get Dak, to be honest. I think Dak would have been good, but then he got paid by Dallas. So
I mean, that might have been an option, but I also think you dodge a little bullet there too. It's again, Dak is good. He's really good. But is he plays so poorly in every big game I've ever seen him play in. He really does. And maybe it's just because I'm watching the Niners gobble him up at the end of years now where maybe it's a little unfair, but I don't know. I believe in Dak in the regular season. I do not believe in postseason Dak. I just don't. He's looked awful against some of the games I've seen him in. Jesse, what do you got? What's the advice for the world this weekend as we all head into week 3 together?
I have 2. One is about baseball. One, John Fisher sucks. He priced me out of my stadium for the last 6 home games.
That son of a bitch. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear that.
I spent my entire childhood at the Coliseum for Raider games and A's games, and now I've been priced out of that.
It is, it's cruel. It's cruel and unusual what has happened to A's fans and Raiders fans. And I mean, to the point where you still remain, Jesse, a sports fan. That just shows you how, how much you love sports, because you have been asked to walk away from the teams that you root for many times by the ownership itself, and you're still there, and that says something about you. Look at it this way. Any woman watching this show today looking for a man who's going to stay loyal, give Jesse a call. This guy's not going anywhere. He is going to you're going to be his ride or die gal for the rest of his life. This man is loyal.
Yes, I'm still a Raider fan, but once they move to Sacramento, I'm done with the A's. I'm going to be a Giants fan.
Oh, well, welcome, I guess. I don't know how smoothly that's going to go for you either, but
we have Matt Chapman, so
there you go. Get your Matt Chapman jersey back out of the closet. You can rock that thing again. What is the other bit of advice you have for us this weekend?
Andy Dalton is secretly good. The last time we played against him, we didn't make it past the 50-yard line in the game.
So Andy was playing defense that day too. Hey, look out for the Red Rocket. Absolutely. But you cannot let Andy Dalton and the Panthers come into Allegiant Stadium and pick up a win. It's just, that cannot happen. I think the Raiders know that too. That yes. Just cannot happen. Jesse, great to see you, brother. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Yes, go ahead.
Also, I'm going to LA on the 20th of October against the Rams. I'm excited for that game.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, you'll have to give us a SoFi Stadium report.
I will.
All right. I'll be looking for one from you. Jesse, great to see you, brother. Thank you so much for watching, for liking, for listening, subscribing. It means an awful lot. It really, really does. Again, if anyone wants to get in with a video call today, it's a day to not be shy. Come on in. James is saying Jesse is going to get down, but only if she's a Raider fan. Fair enough. Fair enough, but that's the thing. Jesse is the kind of loyal guy where, you can clearly push his buttons and he will remain loyal. And I do respect that. I'm going to take these off unless somebody else pops back in. But, God, we were talking to T from the 203 right before we got to Jesse there, right before I went to dude, what Shohei Ohtani did in Miami is unbelievable. I mean, first entrant ever into the 50-50 club. He hits multiple home runs and steals multiple bags to get there. He is the first guy to ever take 17 total bases or more without hitting 4 home runs, or whatever that number was that I saw that passed by me. I should have clipped it and pasted it and had it ready to go. But that's absolutely remarkable. Shohei Ohtani is better than every single San Francisco Giant of the last 4 years added on top of each other. Whatever the Giants offered Ohtani, it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to get the deal done, which means they fucked that up. Shohei Ohtani as a San Francisco Giant would have been the most staggeringly interesting thing that this franchise has offered since Barry Bonds walked away. And the lack of interest in Giants baseball right now, to me, correlates directly with the ultimate interest in the Dodgers and Ohtani. He's unbelievable. He is the greatest baseball player of all time. Fuck your memories. Forget your memory. Like Willie Mays, don't want to hear it. Barry Bonds, I don't think I want to hear that either anymore. I don't want to hear about Babe Ruth. I don't want to hear about Mickey Mantle. I don't want to hear about any of your favorite whatevers. None of them had all of the skills that Shohei Ohtani has shown to us in such vivid, historic, record-breaking fashion in almost every single year that he plays. So he's the best pitcher in baseball when he can pitch. He's the best power hitter in baseball when he can hit. He's the best average hitter in baseball when he's hitting for average. He steals more bases than anyone. He's got everything. Everything. And he's got a fall guy for when he gets in trouble with the gambling world, which you gotta have. You gotta have. Sorry, Shohei. I still think something went on. Hopefully, he was using BetUS. Vince says, Ricky Henderson was the greatest, my favorite. Ricky Henderson was among my favorite too. My answer is simply this. What was his ERA? How is Ricky as a starting pitcher? Was he a Cy Young candidate? If the answer is Ricky didn't pitch, then Ricky ain't Shohei. Which is pretty much how Ricky would say it himself. Mario with a little warning. Damon, I told you Andy Dalton is 3-0 against the Raiders, but hopefully it changes this Sunday. 3-0 lifetime against the Raiders. I mean, I bet you there are a lot of bad quarterbacks who are maybe 3-0 lifetime against the Raiders, but I hear you. Andy Dalton's not a bad quarterback. At this point, he's an old quarterback, an out of fashion quarterback for sure. But he might just be, dumb it down, get simple, play physical football enough for it to work. I hope the Raiders don't blow this. My buddy JT the Brick, I don't think could handle a home Raiders loss to the Carolina Panthers. I think that would set him off. Sean, you can't argue with stats. Ricky does have a 0.00 ERA. Actually, no, he doesn't. He has the infinity fish symbol ERA. He has never recorded it out, which means he does not have an ERA. But I love the joke you attempted there. It was fantastic. I'm going to be honest with you. I think good job, Sean. Kitchen knows what's up. You always got to have a fall guy. You always do. You need a fall guy. Look, if the 49ers are looking for, excuses to be baked into the cake before you even serve it, it feels like there are some excuses baked into this cake going down to Levi's Stadium. But to me, you got to just overcome all of them. I mean, George Kittle not going certainly makes Debo not going that much more concerning. But if that's the way it is, that's the way it's got to be. And Jordan Mason has more than showed himself to be an understudy for Christian McCaffrey. Maybe it doesn't allow Kyle Shanahan to reach the breadth and depth of his playbook that he wants to, but you got an actual NFL starting caliber running back. So I don't really want to hear about McCaffrey not going. Debo, Kittle, not good. Hearing that Charvarius Ward isn't going, that's not good. But, what in the Japanese language, the word for problem is the same word for opportunity or something like that, the character. Maybe Joji can help me out on that. Was Joji in the room today? Maybe he can give me the Japanese problem opportunity correct cliche. But look, Renardo Green, welcome to the NFL, kid. Jacob Cowing, this is your week. Your week to establish yourself as somebody that Kyle Shanahan can maybe trust, and that will do you well when Debo does get healthy and Ricky Pearsall comes back into the conversation. This is obviously a great week for Brandon Ayuk to represent a bigger talking point in the conversation that he's had in either football game so far this year. Brandon Ayuk should be playing himself into the level of game shape, which makes week 3 different from week 1 or 2. He's had enough time around the team in live, real, we working hard out here practices to make this happen. I certainly hope that it happens. Damon, hey, what is Ohtani's fielding percentage? It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. He does the rest of his shit so great, he could give away a run a week and it wouldn't matter. That's who he is. Shohei not missing Ipe like he never even existed. See, Joji is in the room. Joji is in the room. Which rookie is going to be asked to do more this week? Is it going to be Renardo Green? Is it going to be Jacob Cowing? Is it going to be Malik Mustafa, who comes in and is part of a defensive game plan more than we've seen him in the first couple of weeks? What is the over-under on Isaac Guerrero touches? Or are we going to see Patrick Taylor finally get involved in a regular season game? It can't just be Jordan Mason, but it's got to be a run-heavy game, so it's going to be an awful lot of Jordan Mason. For sure. For sure. By the way, Mario with just all kinds of interesting tidbits here. Minshew beat the Ravens last year when he was on the Colts as a backup there too. This is going to sound like a slight. I really don't mean it to be, because the world needs good backup quarterbacks too. I think Gardner Minshew is your backup quarterback, gives you about as good as a backup quarterback as you're allowed to have. As a starting quarterback, you are still in the middle of the pack, if not in the bottom third with Gardner Minshew. How a guy is cast, how you frame this picture, depends on where it goes in the actual museum. By the way, speaking of museum pieces and framing, I think I still got to work on the feng shui behind me here, but the 49er helmet is well placed. The new D. Bruce helmet from Green Gridiron, that needs, I just put the Plu sign down and then put the helmet on it. That probably needs a little work. I think I need to call in Jillian to make that look really good. I mean, I can set up the little background behind me, and then Jillian will just like come through and just do little tweaks. She'll just do little like boops and boop and like do, and I'll be like, yeah, that looks legitimately better. I could not have done that. She does that. By the way, cheers to all of you for watching. Hit like and subscribe, and cheers to Jillian, who just went through a monster week down at Dreamforce. She worked her butt off this week and is upstairs taking one of those like level naps right now, and she earned it. She absolutely earned it. Good job, honey. Keep making that bacon, and I'll fry it up in the pan when you can bring it home. I missed the sign. Thank you, 49ers Red Zone. I missed the sign. The sign is still there. It's just laying down. It's taking a nap like Jillian. Thank you. Thank you very much, though. Question from G-San says, will there be a direct relationship between the number of oft-injured players and the little inactivity in preseason games? I mean, we would have to run several seasons of data points through the machine before we could even suggest that bends towards the light or away from the light, right? There's much more football to be played and data to be collected before we can answer that question definitively. But I'm leaning towards yes. I think, G-San, we're watching injuries tick up a bit more. I can also say there's no amount of preseason snaps you can play that then absolve you from possibly being injured in a season, though. So I don't think you can. There's more causation than direct correlation there, it would feel like. But I do think it explains some of the offensive doldrums that the first couple of weeks of football have shown us. Blame too high safeties, blame the preseason, blame better defensive coaches, better defensive players, those guys getting paid as much too. I think that there's a lot of things that have gone into the soup of very up and down convoluted play week to week in the early going of all NFL seasons coming up now. And I do correlate that to a lack of preseason downs and snaps and preparation. I also think that the lack of downs and snaps and preparation can be pointed at training camp right now, like the NFL in its last CBA, negotiated for less practice, less contact. And I think that affects certainly the guys who play on the line of scrimmage. And then, the guys who play on the line of scrimmage are mostly responsible for protecting everyone. And now guys are getting hurt. Well, it's because the guys on your line of scrimmage aren't as tuned up as they need to be. What good is a bouncer who doesn't know how to use his taser? Feels like a lot of guys come out of the preseason ready to bounce at the bar, but they just don't know how to use the new taser. And that's how you get your quarterback hit. Brock Purdy got hit and sacked way too much last week. That's got to change against the team it should change against, because Aaron Donald, he ain't there no more down in L.A. That is the official sip of the day, by the way, if you needed one. If you needed a sip of the day to be recorded, there it is. Oh, we got another man back in the room. Let's go and say hello to our friend James Jones, who we got to know last year. James, so good to see you again. And I'll tell you, the background behind you has got decidedly more Niner-centric, brother. You look
I got
wow.
the red flash speed there. That's signed by Frank, Patrick, and Navarro.
Look at that.
So, yeah.
You look like you are officially stepping into some content creating space, brother. I love it. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm, here, good days and bad days, brother. You know how it goes, man. But
how's the family? For those who don't know, James' father passed away during the playoff run last year. He shared some very personal stuff with us, and the entire audience here fell in love with you, James. So we wish you and your family the very, very best.
Appreciate you, Damon, and you shared some things too, and I appreciate that till the end. So I thank you for everything you said, and your words have always been uplifting. Everyone's words have been uplifting, and I appreciate everyone in Plus. So thank you much for all you guys. I love y'all. But yeah, it's been good, man. I had a thing where my dad and I would talk before every game, probably the last 10 years or so, about maybe 5-10 minutes before kickoff. And my little brother, who we had the same mom, different dads, right? He lost his dad to cancer about 3 years ago. And so, I told him about have a conversation with my dad before every game, and he just said, why stop? So before the Super Bowl, we had to leave to go to my brother-in-law's house to watch the game, but I came in my office here and I just put my hand on this football back here. You can see the white one there. My dad gave me that in 2001. It's signed by the entire 89 team. And just talked to my dad for about 5 minutes before we left. And I'm doing that before every game. And I started a tradition with my own kid now too. We're going to talk before every game, before kickoff of every game as well. So
that's awesome.
He'll turn 27.
It's amazing how, sports and fathers and sons and mothers and daughters, there's such a bond there. And when I miss my dad every day. I really do. I miss my dad every day. But the day I actually feel his absence, the day that I miss my dad the most is the Sunday before the final round of the Masters. Because that is the one guaranteed we would be on the phone with each other. We would always talk before the final round of the Masters for sure. And that's when I miss him the most. So I feel it, man. And you and your brother, you make sure that you talk to each other in those times too. Now that's the phone call you guys get to make now, pregame.
Yeah, without a doubt. And like I said, my son too. So
there you go. That's awesome, man. That is awesome.
Yeah, man. So a couple things. You mentioned something earlier. I'm actually going to be, if I'm being 100% honest, I'm going to be more upset if Minnesota beats Houston, because not only them getting a 3-0, which obviously, depending on what happens in this game with our injury depleted roster going in. If we fall to 1-2, heaven forbid, I'm not trying to put bad juju out in the universe there, but if we do and they go to 3-0, that's just one more team that we're going to have to, topple down from the mountaintop there. But, Darnold, I think that we have this thing, and, I'm not saying we resurrected his career necessarily, but him being here for last year, I think was nothing but good for him.
Oh, I don't think resurrection's a stretch. I think he had the confidence of a quarterback in a healthy system coached back into him. And how could you have had that in Carolina or in New York? I mean, he was playing for one clown show after another. He gets here and he's like, oh, this is the NFL with real coaches and real talent around you. And I think he found himself again. And he's looked like a better version of Sam Darnold in the first 2 weeks than he has in the first, 6-7 years of his career.
Without a doubt. And I was going to say, imagine being Carolina. Not only do you trade Christian to us for what became peanuts, basically, but, I mean, you trade away the pick that became Caleb Williams, okay? You had Sam and Baker on your roster, right? And you didn't see anything in them that could, help you out for the future. And then you draft Bryce Young over C.J. Stroud, right? So,
that's hitting for the cycle in bad decisions. It really is.
And as a Dodger fan, I'm a Dodger fan. So yesterday's Shohei day was absolutely amazing. I don't think I've seen a better performance in my life, honestly.
How about this? I don't know if we can absolutely circle the single greatest day any baseball player has ever had.
Sure.
But we could select a small handful of games to be offered, and that's one of them. That is one of those days, and another. He's the architect of another day. I remember there was a one-hit complete game shutout while he hit 2 home runs. Didn't that happen last year? I mean, the guy is just in a class photo of one. There's never been anything like this guy. Babe Ruth was not like this guy. No one was ever like this guy. So
no.
He is all day and night long special. He really is. And you know what, too, I want to give some props to? The Miami Marlins for watching that guy go 5 for 5 and saying, fuck it, we're pitching to him. We're not going to walk him. We're not going to get cute here. We're going to let this guy have a moment and see, we're just going to play baseball. We're going to let baseball decide what happens today, not some manager who's trying to protect his team from an already embarrassing afternoon. I'm glad that the Marlins actually pitched to him when they could have given up on that a long time.
Very easily could have. And that third home run that he jacked was a position player. I don't know who was pitching on the mound, who was on the mound for that, but it wasn't a pitcher. So, but I mean, still 3 home run day. I mean, goodness sakes, man. It's just unreal. One thing, just talking real quick about players to watch, obviously, right, in this game coming up. I think Brendel definitely is one to watch.
Absolutely.
I believe he did bounce back in week 2 after not necessarily a great week 1 performance, but he's got to be communicating a lot. He's got to be calling out the plays and the blitzes. He's got to the formations and alignments and whatnot a little bit better, I think. And I mean, overall, as a whole, I think pass protection needs to improve in this game without a doubt. Last week was just not ideal for what we're trying to do, obviously. But Havenstein versus Bosa. I think Havenstein has had his 2 worst career outings against us, once in 19 and once last year against Nick. 3 pressures he gave up to Nick, and his lowest career pass block rating of 27%. So last season.
There's going to be a lot of holding. There's going to be a lot of holding. There's no doubt. There always is on Nick Bosa. So we'll see how much, they'll get away with. And hopefully it's a day where this 49ers defensive line gets to take advantage of the injuries that it's got right in front of it across the Rams offensive line. I mean, Kruger and I just had Jordan Rodriguez of The Athletic on Wake Up. And she basically said that, Sean McVay's asked her to suit up. Like, that's how thin they are across the offensive line. So this has to be a line of scrimmage that the 49ers take advantage of. And, all the matchups that you're talking about are right. Let me just put one more thing on it. Special teams, red alert all day. Sean McVay's going to run a fake punt in this game. I fucking swear to God he is. He's going to have to steal a possession.
And he knows it. Down. Yep. And he knows it right now. I guarantee you saying that. I can see him sitting there thinking about it right now. He's going to have to steal one for sure. And that's the thing. They've done that to us multiple times in the past, right? What was it? A couple of years ago, I think it was, when they did that. It was a primetime game, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, same thing. Fake punt. It was like 4th.
It's going to be the ultimate coaching chess match. It's like, I know you want to run a fake punt. Well, I know that you know that I want to run a fake punt. Well, I know that you know that I know that you know that you know that I know that you want to run a fake. And here we go. We got two of the best coaches in football with depleted teams. And, the Niners they're not desperate, but they want to be 2-1, and they don't want to fall 1-2 with a loss in their own division against this
these
team.
Next two games are, I mean, on paper, easily 3-1 by the end of the game against Patriots next week. I mean, that's what
you got to put these in the win column. You got to bench these wins because it gets rough starting.
Regardless of who's out, who's not playing, whatever the case might be, right? I mean, they said the next man up mentality really has to come forward in this game, these two games, because as you said, I mean, winnable games on paper, right? And so even without Debo, even if George doesn't play, which I had to bite the bullet last night in fantasy and put him on my bench and pick up Hunter Henry because he was the most touted tight end coming on the waiver wire this week, and he got me 3 points, but not what I was hoping to happen. But I mean, if George doesn't play too, I think Juwan's going to have a good game. I really do. I think Jenny's going to have a stellar game.
And I would love to see Cowing or Ronnie Bell or somebody who Conley, somebody who I don't think about. Give me a reason to think about you. Give me a reason to think that you are the guy to get this team through the Debo injury that we're going through right now and the Debo injury that'll probably rear its head somewhere around week 12 because that's just kind of how Debo is. So
I wanted to ask you real quick if I can too, just in the conversation you and Larry had the other night in regards to, no, it wasn't you. No, it wasn't you and Larry. It was Larry and I can't remember who he's talking to, but the topic of Garendo came up, and Larry's just very adamant that he doesn't see Garendo as like a good running back necessarily, right? The instincts, the vision, the one cut go, picking and sliding and stuff like that. What's your take on that, huh?
I hope Larry's wrong. Because this team doesn't need a backup fullback as much as it needs somebody to back up, their running back spot right now. So I think that Garendo does trend towards special teams player, fullback, kind of like, a weapon X guy.
Like
more than he is a straight up anything. He's like a, positionless basketball.
Yeah.
Can you be a positionless running back? Can you be a positionless member of the Niners backfield? That's kind of where I see him right now. I also, Larry is at training camp. I went down to 3 training camp practices this year. Larry's there like every day. And he's like, this isn't just about one game and one play in Minnesota with him not fitting the bill. You go and you watch these training camp practices. He's not hitting that right hole all of the time. Well, coach him up.
Yeah.
This is what you drafted the guy to be, Kyle. You can't have him turn into another Trey Sermon. You got to get something out of him. So, coach
or a TDP or any long list of running backs. Williams that we drafted back in 2017.
Hey, you want to throw Carlos Hyde in there, who had like a grand total of 8 good games for the Niners before he washed out. So there has been it's so funny how much success Shanahan has had with off the street guys at running back, and the dudes he drafts usually don't work out. It's
insane to me. It makes no sense. It defies the laws of physics, basically, so to speak.
Have a great weekend, brother.
You too, David. I appreciate it, man.
Great to see you, and I mean it. That room looks fantastic. Not only did you select proper Niner red on one wall, I can see that you dialed up the right Pantone or whatever it's called to get the right gold right there. They're
the exact colors, man. They're actually the exact colors.
Your studio looks better than mine. Shit. Get out of here.
I appreciate you, man. You have a good weekend, all right?
Thank you, James. You have a great weekend, too. Your son, your brother, your whole family. Cheers. The friends we make along the way. Isn't it cool? Really is, man. Really is. It's a freaking YouTube special. It's a special place. It really is. So I think that's it. I mean, I think we all know what's ahead here. What's ahead here is you hopefully liking and subscribing to this channel. What is hopefully ahead here is you getting ready to join me at the 2-minute warning. The studio is already up. You can go to my YouTube page right now and you can select notify on the studio. That is me joining you live at the 2-minute warning around 4:15, 4:30-ish this Sunday is when the 2-minute warning should be upon us. And I'll be going live. And I hope that you plan on joining us there. The only thing we have left to do today is a little history lesson. Are you ready for this day in history? Are you ready to learn something? I promise it won't be much. This will make you a little bit more interesting at work, I think, today. On this day, back in 1870, by the way, if you check the Italian box in your life, here's some information you're going to want. Today in 1970, Italian troops occupied Rome, leading to the eventual incorporation of Rome into the Kingdom of Italy. And what would Italy be without Rome? You got to have Rome in there. So today is the day that Rome officially was incorporated by Italy. It limited the papal governing authority of the Vatican to eensy-weensy little Vatican City. Vatican City is this. It's its own little thing. It's a tiny little thing. I feel like I'm doing like a Trump right there. It's a tiny little thing. It's its own little thing. Yeah, you get the Rome, you got the boot, you got Rome, and you got little Vatican City. So there you go. Happy birthday, Rome. I don't mean Jim Rome. Rome. What else we got today? Your significant figures born today. By the way, one of the most significant figures of all time was born today, and we'll get to her in a second. But today, born today, no longer with us, obviously, born today, Red Auerbach was born in 1917, legendary basketball coach. Light one if you got one for Red Auerbach later today. He would put a cigar up in the air for you, I am sure. The man who gave us the Song of Fire and Ice, which became Game of Thrones, which, of course, South Park immortalized with floppy wiener, floppy wiener, floppy wiener. George R.R. Martin is celebrating a birthday today. The guy who gave us Game of Thrones, he was born today in 1948. And when we talk about significant figures born today, a woman who has done more to represent all of Italy than Rome ever could. This woman is more important to the history of Italy than pasta, than a good bolognese. Happy birthday, Sophia Loren. Sophia Loren, born today in 1934. I'm telling you right now, if OnlyFans had been around, number one, Sophia would have been way too classy to sign up for that bullshit. But had she done it, you wouldn't go look at any other naked woman in the world. Sophia Loren is one of the single most beautiful human beings to have ever walked the face of the earth. If you're a little younger and you don't know who Sophia Loren is, Google Sophia Loren. Holy mackerel. They have never created a woman more beautiful than Sophia Loren. Oh, my God. So you go ahead, other than Jillian, of course, my wife. It's Jillian Bruce, Sophia Loren. That's the list. I mean, but good God, Sophia Loren, born today, 1934. Is she still with us? It's so funny. I write SOFI, and all of a sudden it starts populating in my web address bar. It's like SoFi Stadium, SOFI, SoFi. No, Sophia Loren. There she is. She's still with us. She is 90 years old. I mean, look at this picture of her that just popped. I should have incorporated this picture into today's broadcast. It's good God, Sophia Loren. Stunner. Stone cold stunner. And this is what I'm talking about right here. Chef A. She knows, a goddess. Straight up. Goddess. Hold on. 49er Red Zone is saying, Damon, it's my birthday tomorrow. Can I get a shout out? Hold on. I'll do it better than a shout out. It's a Friday. '49er Red Zone. Can I get a shout out? You're getting a bottle pull. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. I think Jillian and I are going to go get a taco here in a little while. I can definitely, she can drive. I'll drink. Ha ha ha. Yeah. Happy birthday, Red Zone. Happy birthday to you. See, that's a little family we got here. Again, James Jones is part of that family. He's saying thank you, everyone, for the comments and the love. Best sports family. And we're so lucky. We're so lucky that we can come together and hang out together. It really is. Look at Damon derailing the entire show to look at Sophia Loren thirst traps. Well, I had to find out if she's still alive. She's 90. God bless her. Sophia Loren at 90 is hotter than most women will ever be at the age of 24. I mean, Sophia Loren. When God was handing it out, he gave her a lot. Speaking of historically significant women, we have another historically significant happening today. Oh, by the way, no, you're the man. Thank you very much, 49ers Red Zone. Or maybe you're the woman. I don't know. 49ers Red Zone, happy birthday to you, no matter what. No matter what you are. No matter how you identify. Happy birthday. Oh, look at this. Nathaniel Richards, my youngest son, turns 1 on Sunday. Well, I hope the 49ers get him a win. And let's see, for your son, we'll celebrate a little birthday too, because that Michter's went down pretty damn good. So you know what? We'll do one more. We'll do one more just for your son here. This is for you, Nate. This is for Nate Jr. Yeah, we're going to get tacos. Okay. G-Son right there. Sophia Loren. Raquel Welch. Holy guacamole. Yeah. Yes. What else we have? In 1973 today, it was the Battle of the Sexes. We had Billie Jean King beating Bobby Riggs in one of the most televised and watched sporting events ever up to that time. Like 90 million people watched Bobby Riggs lose to Billie Jean King at the Astrodome. It was a big deal. It was a very big deal back in 1973. Today in 1998, without any fanfare at all, for the first time in a long time, those people who were covering the Baltimore Orioles looked down and someone else other than Cal Ripken was penciled into the starting lineup. Cal Ripken Jr.'s streak of 2,632 consecutive games played ended today in 1998. How about that? I'm telling you, Cal Ripken was at the epicenter of people forgiving baseball after its strike. It really was. You had the McGuire-Sosa home run chase, and you had Cal being the one guy who brought a lot of people back to baseball after that strike. Finally, for today. By the way, Valve Oil wants to shout out Natalie Wood here. You know who was a huge Natalie Wood fan? Ron Bruce. My dad was a big Natalie Wood guy. Yeah. Oh, and you know what? Since we're just doing shout-outs, shout out Carol Doda. Yeah, I think it's D-O-D-D-A. Maybe look at it this way. I don't know how many D's were there, but she always had 2 of them with her wherever she went. She had the double D's with her, for sure. Your final historical note of the day. And by the way, this is one of my favorite go-tos. Whenever anyone gets lost somewhere, I'll be like, way to go, Magellan. And a lot of people will be like, Magellan, what? See, I really like history. And today, and the reason why we know these things is because historically, The one document that was kept very accurately were ship's logs. That's why an awful lot of really old history comes from ships. Ships' logs were very, very meticulously kept. Today in 1519, that's a long time ago, 1519, Portuguese explorer Ferdinand Magellan departed from Spain on a quest to circumnavigate the globe. While the ship that he was the captain of was circumnavigating the globe, Magellan died. But they still did it without him. They did it. They did it. They circumnavigated the globe. Even though he died during the voyage, the expedition achieved its goal, and we learned that the Earth was round, and that was in 1519. And here we are in 2024, and someone will tell you that Magellan was just dicking around, and the Earth is flat. Like the Earth might be round thing was settled in 1519 by a guy named Magellan. But a dude who is a big QAnon fan is somewhere online telling you that the Earth is flat. And this is the stupid world we live in. Good times. Good times. Damon, Streets of Fire era, Diane Lane. Yeah, Diane Lane was definitely a beautiful, beautiful woman there. She didn't check the boxes of curves that the other women that we were talking about, Sophia Loren and Raquel Welch did. But Diane Lane, very pretty, no doubt about it. Oh, Carl, self-inflicted wound by Magellan. Look it up. Did Magellan circumnavigate his own demise? I don't know. See, and this is how we learn. This is how we learn. Thank you for being in the audience today. Thank you so much for hitting like and subscribe. Thank you for becoming aware of the studio that will bring me to you during the 2-minute warning of 49ers and Rams this Sunday, and going ahead and making sure that you're notified for when I go live. You won't have to miss a thing. Thank you very much for supporting the sponsors of today's show. Thank you so much to everyone who called in, to my man Ike. Remember, $3 off your sandwich at most locations coming up Saturday, tomorrow, at the time we're recording this live stream. Use promo code SAT3, either in person at a participating location or when you're ordering on his all-new downloadable Ike's app, which you got to check out. It's fantastic. Get to the Dubliner for a fine beverage this weekend. You'll be very happy that you did. And if you got to lay it and play it, make sure you do it over on BetUS, where you will find 150% deposit bonus match on your first deposit, 125% on your next two, up to $2,000 by using promo code YouTube150 when you sign up over on BetUS. Thanks to everyone who not only watched today, but this week, who was in and out. Thank you for liking, for subscribing, for your memberships. Thank you for supporting the channel very, very much. Cheers. Have a great weekend. And Sophia Loren, wherever you are. Sports don't build character. They reveal it. And like that, he's gone.